At the start of the movie, we see 3 boats and a helicopter in the ocean, rapidly approaching a location where a NASA capsule has crashed. Upon reaching the site, US Coast Guard open the capsule and extract a girl named Sam Walker. They then place her on a boat and transport her to a hospital. Later, Sam awakens in the hospital feeling dizzy. As she looks around, she notices a pen floating in the air. She tries to grab it, but just then some doctors in hazmat suits enter the room, which distracted her. And when she looks back, the pen is on the table. They ask her some questions to check if she's thinking clearly. When she mentions the floating pen, they explain that seeing strange things can happen because of the crash landing. Then Sam notices her hand is swollen, but doctors tells her it's not broken, just bruised from the impact. Now she begins explaining that Mission Control gave her coordinates, and the flight was going smoothly until she felt a collision. The doctors tell her a sharp object punctured the capsule and cracked her helmet. They suspect space debris, and they're now analyzing tiny particles on her suit to identify it. Afterward, Sam's husband, Mark Walker, and their daughter Izzy come to visit her. Since Sam is in quarantine, they can only talk through a glass wall. Her father, General William Harris, also comes and tells her the Pentagon is working with NASA to investigate the crash, because they picked up strange frequencies during her crash landing, and a secure government house has been arranged for her recovery, away from reporters. Just then, a doctor interrupts to take Sam for more tests. But before leaving, Sam promised Izzy that they will soon be reunited. When it's time to move, a convoy takes Sam to a remote house. There, Dr. Michelle Aiden shows her around, explaining that the government bought the land in the 50s for weapons testing and now uses the house for diplomats. And a telescope is set up outside, so Sam can still feel connected to space. When she looks through it, a loud, painful screech fills her ears. She feels dizzy, and strange memories flash in her mind. Michelle says this is normal, and stays with her until the noise stops. After that, Michelle warns Sam that she may experience hallucinations and nosebleeds, and tells her that she needs to focus on recovery to pass an assessment test in 2 months. Doctors will come every day to monitor her progress. Once the team leaves, Sam gets a bad headache, so she takes her temperature, but has no fever. She also examines her swollen hand and notices a large, dark bruise. That night, while unpacking, Sam's nose begins to bleed, so she goes to the kitchen to get a cloth to clean it. Right then, she gets a call from her best friend, Val. As they talk, Sam suddenly freezes and stares at the backyard for a few seconds. Val calls her name until she snaps out of it, and Sam says she thought she saw something outside. After that, she moved to another room, where Val advises Sam to downplay her symptoms so she can return to work faster. After the call, the house lights flicker, and a loud noise comes from another room. Now Sam came out to check and finds dirt and rainwater on the floor, a chair overturned, and the backyard door wide open. She steps outside to look through the telescope and spots a shape moving in the woods, but it vanishes quickly. So carrying a flashlight, Sam walks into the forest and throws a rock toward the spot where she saw movement, unaware that a strange creature is on the roof of the house. Right then she hears the screeching noise again and sees visions of lights and people at a dark crash site. The next day, Sam wakes up and sees her bandage is gone and the bruise on her hand getting bigger. While preparing breakfast, she's startled to see an egg started floating above in midair. Even when she grabs and lets go, it stays midair. But the moment the medical team arrives, the egg drops and breaks. The morning is filled with medical tests. While exercising, she suddenly feels sharp pain in her foot, but says it's only a cramp. Once the tests conclude, she rests with ice packs on her painful spots. Michelle says the tests are helpful for the space program and asks about other symptoms. Sam says she's fine. After the medical team leaves, Sam calls Mark and suggests a family trip once she's fully recovered. Mark says no, he doesn't want Izzy to see them together if they end up divorcing. Hearing this, Sam is hurt, saying they're still working on it. But Mark says her long absences for training and space missions have strained their marriage. But Sam insists her family is important and wants Izzy to have the family she never had. Here it turns out Izzy is adopted because they were unable to conceive, but Mark feels it didn't bring the closure they hoped for. Just then, Izzy interrupts to show a drawing. After the call, Sam goes for a walk in the woods and hears the painful screech again and sees visions of a search team moving through a smoky area. When she calms down, she looks down and spots a cable concealed under leaves. She follows it and discovers a rock with a glowing light. Upon picking it up, she finds it is fake and contains a camera inside. She then locates another cable leading to a second camera, which makes her uneasy. On her way back, Sam trips over a tree root and bangs her head. She then wakes up in bed with a severe headache and sees someone outside and gets scared. Right then, a man came in the room and says they found her unconscious and carried her inside. When she asks who they are, so he tells her that William has come to visit her. He explains he arrived for a visit, found the house empty. He called a search team and now scolds her for breaking protocol. Then Sam asks about the cameras, and William admits he didn't tell NASA the full truth about the house because he didn't think she'd explore that far. He then escorts her downstairs and shows her a secret area behind bookshelf, explaining it's a safe house for high-profile people. They go downstairs to a large area with living quarters and a control room with its own power source. There, William shows her monitors displaying feeds from dozens of security cameras around the property and says that if there is an attack, the building locks down with reinforced materials. Then they leave the room, unaware that the monitor screens behind them are flickering. That evening, Sam relaxes in the outdoor jacuzzi as strong winds howl. Suddenly, the wind ceases, and she hears strange sounds emanating from the woods. Feeling uneasy, she heads inside and tries calling Mark, but gets voicemail. Right then, the lights flicker, so she grabs a flashlight and checks the balcony, but sees nothing. When the power fails completely, she glimpses a bizarre creature at the door. Upon checking again, it has vanished. Then the lights turn on again, and Sam opens the door to look around with her flashlight, but finds nothing. She returns inside the house, locks the door. While heading to the bedroom, the house AI announces a security breach and initiates lockdown. Soon, metal shutters slam down over every window and door, trapping Sam inside. She tries to call, but her phone has no signal. At that moment, she hears the painful screeching again and detects a noise behind her. So she turns around, but there is nothing. Suddenly, a growling sound emanates from the next room. Terrified, she runs downstairs as the creature dashes past. It gets closer, so she flips every power switch, but they don't work. Then the doorknob on the nearby door jiggles, but stops when she shines the flashlight on it. Nervously, she opens the door and steps out to look around. Just then, the lights flicker, and a plant near the window shakes, causing Sam to drop her flashlight. She hastily picks it up and screams when a creepy hand touches the window glass. Terrified, she runs to the bunker, activates the security cameras, and sees the creature standing on the grass. But it disappears the moment the lights flicker again. Later, Sam's phone rings and awakens her. She then realizes she fell asleep at the computer desk. Then she goes upstairs and encounters William with his team. She then explains that the generator is malfunctioning, and William confirms they noticed the blackouts. Sam informs him that something entered into the house, whereupon William promises to review the security footage. Afterward, the medical tests start. During tests, Michelle examines the bruise and says it looks abnormal, so she schedules x-rays. Later, Mark and Izzy arrive for a visit. While William plays with Izzy, Sam tells Mark in the woods that she saw an alien-like creature and wonders if she brought something back from space, since her mission involved transmitting signals. But before Mark could answer, Izzy interrupted. Then Sam and William review the security footage, but it glitches exactly when the creature appeared, showing no monster in the lawn. William says the stress is making her imagine things and tells her to rest. After he leaves, Sam runs a full house scan on the computer. It counts 9 people. Meanwhile, during a walk in the woods, Mark shows Sam affection. Suddenly they hear a strange noise and realize Izzy has disappeared. They search frantically until she pops up behind them holding a dead bug. Then, thousands of bugs swarm out from the forest. Upon seeing this, the family runs toward the house to take shelter. From inside the house, the family watches in horror as the bugs cover the windows. A short time later, the bugs vanish, leaving the windows coated in sticky residue. So, Mark and Sam look outside and see thousands of dead insects piled up against the glass. Later, a cleaning team arrives, and a NASA officer says it might be an environmental issue. As he prepares to depart, Sam asks him about capsule tests, but he informs her that the results are not ready yet. After that, Mark and Izzy leave, promising to return. Later, Sam feels a strange sensation in her foot and removes her shoe. She sees her toe is bleeding, so she goes into the bathroom and takes off her sock to clean it, but discovers the wound extending up her leg. When she touches her toe, the nail comes off and she screams in pain. She then bandages her foot and enters the kitchen to drink water. Right then, the kitchen lights begin flickering, so she shoves a table against the door to block it. Then she searches online and finds that sudden geomagnetic storms might cause weird bug behavior. Some people even linked to UFO sightings. Suddenly she feels something on her back, so she runs to the bathroom, where she looks in the mirror and sees bruising on her shoulder blade as well. At that moment, the lights flicker again, so Sam rushes to activate the alarm before going downstairs, where she hears strange noises are coming from the rooms. She calls Mark, who says he's on his way, and then the house AI announces another breach and begins lockdown. Sam tells Mark something is inside the house. She hears noises getting closer, so she runs toward the bunker. Just then, a pain hits her back, and she tumbles down the stairs. She lands hard and touches her back, finding a weird jelly-like substance on her skin, and the eerie noises from upstairs grow louder. She runs to the computer room and checks the cameras, but saw no one on the monitors. Then she scans the house. The system reports 2 other persons inside. Freaked out, she presses random buttons, and smoke starts pouring from the ceiling. Sam runs into the kitchen and hides behind furniture, and sees the monster's reflection in the mirror. But the monster doesn't notice her and leaves. When she tries to escape, another creature comes in, so she hides again and waits for it to leave. Once it's gone, she goes into a bathroom and barricades the door with furniture. Right then, Sam's bruised hand starts to hurt, so she unwraps the bandage and sees her skin coated in strange goo. At that moment, the creatures start pounding on the bathroom door, but she escaped through an air vent just in time. Meanwhile, outside, Mark and Izzy arrive and see the house sealed. Mark tries calling Sam but gets no answer. He got out of the car to check, and Izzy notices something nearby and runs toward it. Mark chases her and finds her pointing at a glowing light in the forest. Back to Sam, she finds a ladder in the corridor. By using it, she came out in the forest. As she runs among the trees, more of her wounds start glowing, and she keeps hearing the sound of the monsters, but not hear her family calling for her. Meanwhile, William arrives with a team of armed men. He warns them they're up against something highly intelligent, then sends them to search. In the forest, Sam trips and falls. She hears the monsters getting closer, so she pleads for mercy. One creature gently lifts her chin, looks at her with kind eyes, and speaks in its own language, asking if she understands. To her surprise, Sam comprehends every word. More creatures gather as the first one says they missed her. When she asks who they are, it replies that they are her family. Sam is still confused, so the creature gently touches its forehead to hers and urges her to remember. The earlier visions now become crystal clear. Years ago, her family's ship crashed on Earth. William and his soldiers tried to capture them, so the aliens fled. In the panic, Sam got separated. She activated a device to disguise herself as a human child. When William found her, she looked like a little girl, and he adopted her that day. However, her alien family searched for her non-stop, knowing the disguise would fade after a few years. Just then, Mark and Izzy arrived and saw Sam surrounded by the aliens. William showed up too and admitted he had always known Sam wasn't human. Now he demands that Sam order the aliens to surrender so the government can capture them. When she refuses, William draws a gun, but Mark tackles him and punches him repeatedly. Meanwhile, Sam's disguise completely fades, and she transforms into her true alien form. Soldiers are approaching fast, so Mark tells her to escape before they capture her. Izzy lifts her hand, and Sam gently touches it with her paw before fleeing with her alien family. When soldiers reach the scene, the aliens depart from Earth.